Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. All right, guys, so before we get into what we're going to talk about today, as usual, if you'd like a one on one session, please email me at paul.wisdom_03 at hotmail.com, or feel free to send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some advice tailored to your situation, if you just have some questions about any of my videos, if you want to talk to me about something, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here. If you want to call, just send a text message to that number. Just let me know that it's you and you want to talk about your narcissistic experience, and then I'll be more than happy to give you the help that you need. So, what we're going to talk about today is an interesting one. I wasn't planning on making a video today, but I decided, hey, I have time. It's 3 in the afternoon, so I decided to just make one. I usually, like I said, I do these videos when I have time, guys. A lot of the times I'm quite busy, and so when I have time, if I have downtime, then I will put together a video. And do keep in mind as well, sometimes I don't, like I said, I don't create videos every single day, just because I want to make sure that I have all the facts in order and things like that, in order to present, just so that I'm not making the same videos over and over like some of these other content creators. I have to do things differently, guys. I have to be different. I can't be like everyone else. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is narcissistic parents are jealous of their own kids. Yes, this is a fact. Narcissistic parents are jealous of their own kids. So let's get into it, guys. So, one thing we all know about narcissists is that they all play by the same playbook. They all do the exact same things. They all thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. And narcissists, they all are jealous and envious of everybody. Narcissistic parents, specifically the people that gave birth to you, are jealous and envious of, if they turned out to be narcissistic, that is, they are jealous and envious of you. And the reason why narcissistic parents, the thing is, it's sort of ridiculous when you think about it. Just because, let's say that you have a narcissistic parent that was rich, for example, that had a really good job, like for example, working for the government, or a nurse, or some sort of job that paid a lot of money, or maybe they just had a business, let's say a business that profited and was a successful business and made a lot of money. Let's just say, right? That parent is still jealous and envious of their kids. And here's why. I'm going to explain why. The reason why narcissistic parents, no matter what they have, they're jealous of their own kids is because narcissistic parents know inside themselves that they're nothing. Narcissists know that they have nothing to show for. Narcissists know that everything they do, it's for a show. They want to make it appear as if they're happy. They want to make it appear to seem as though they have more than they actually do have. And they do this to their kids, and then the kids, they end up trying to be as level up and be as good as the parent. And when that kid, which might be you, if you're watching this video, and if it's your first video you're watching, thank you so much for being here on the channel today. If you happen to, be going up, let's say that you're in school right now, let's say that you're in high school or you're in elementary school, and let's say that you want to be a specific something. Let's say you want to be, I don't know, let's say that you want to be a nurse. Let's say that you want to own your own business. Let's say that you want to be a famous singer. I don't know. You can put anything in the blanks that you want. What I'm saying is that the narcissistic parents, they know that they will not be as good as you are in that thing, because you know that you are very passionate about that thing. That's something that you love. That's something that you've always enjoyed all your life, right? And the narcissist, they were watching you all your life, and they were seeing that this is something that you loved. And see, the narcissists know they're always watching their victim. They're always targeting, they're always watching to see who they can target and who they can take the most from, right? And so when the narcissist sees that their child is performing well in, let's say, a sport. Let's say it's a sport and that child is going to be something. Let's say they're going to be a very good soccer player. They're a very good soccer player. Let's just say that they're a fast runner and they run track and field, for example. Let's say that they play basketball or football or cricket or whatever sport, or let's say that they're into something, that they're passionate about, and they turn out to be really good. Let's say that when it comes down to graduation time, And usually narcissistic parents will not show up to their own child's graduation. It's true. Not saying it happened to me, but what I'm saying is it's true because narcissists, one thing you have to also know about narcissists is that narcissists always want the spotlight on them. They always want the attention to be on them. So if you're graduating, let's say, and this happened to me, and I'll give you an example in a minute. But what happens and why narcissists don't show up to their own children's graduation is because narcissists know that perhaps, maybe, and this could, and maybe and maybe not. They know the narcissist knows that they perhaps didn't even graduate high school. They didn't even graduate college. And to see that their child is doing better than them, and maybe the narcissistic parent is rich. They have a lot of money and they're doing they have a good job. But they see that that child graduated college or high school, but they know that they did not graduate college or high school or college or university or whatever, and they see that their child has done that. Well, that narcissistic parent is going to be pretty upset. And they're going to make passive aggressive. If it's a covert narcissistic parent that you have, they're going to make very passive aggressive comments to you. For example, they'll say something to the effect of, "Oh, so you graduated college, eh? Well, good for you. Good for you." And then you're going to scratch your head like, "Wait, you're my dad. You're my mom. Aren't you supposed to be happy for me? I did something great. I'm doing well. I found my passion." Well, the truth is that your narcissistic parent, they're jealous of you. They're upset at you because they believe that they should have gotten what you have gotten, right? Maybe you got on the principal's list. Maybe you made the honor roll. Maybe you did very, very well. And the narcissistic parent knows that when they were in school, they didn't even make it close to the honor roll. In fact, they just passed school by the skin of their teeth. And they know this. But yet they're jealous and envious of you, even though they have a really good job and everything. They're married and everything like that to your parent and to your mom, to your mom or your dad, their husband and their husband and wife, but yet they're still jealous of you. So see, what you have to understand is that narcissistic parents, they always have to have the spotlight on them. They can't just be happy that their child graduated high school or elementary school or kindergarten or university or college. They always need to have the spotlight on them, and especially if the parent is a very old person, like let's say they're in their 60s or 70s or 50s or even 80s, for example, and that parent, turns out to be the aging narcissist. That narcissist is going to be very, very nasty towards that child, and they're going to start screaming and yelling and believing that they're entitled to have what the child has, and they'll even gaslight that child into believing that they'll never be anything. So let's say that child graduated college and university, and now they want to get out into the work world, and do something great. That narcissistic parent will say, "Well, you're not going to find a good job up there. The career that you're in, they're not good. You're not going to be paid a lot of money." And then they're trying to gaslight you. They're trying to cause a cognitive dissonance in your mind so that you get confused, so that you don't actually achieve that level of success, because the narcissistic parent is jealous of you, right? Because they're envious of you. At times they want to be their own child. Right? This is how nasty narcissists are. They actually want to be you, and that's why they project their own insecurities onto other people, because they want other people to take their place while they take that other person's place. Right? That's why they project, and that's why they do things like that. That's why they say things like that to throw you off, because now they know that they've caused chaos when they're telling you something like, you will never be anything good, or that profession isn't the best profession. You can do something better that will pay you 80 grand instead of 60 grand. And then you're scratching and you don't understand what's happening, because they're supposed to be your parent encouraging you. Well, sadly, they're a narcissist and they can't encourage you because they and of themselves are insecure. They have a deep insecurity that cannot be fixed, right? It's almost like a car. Think about a car, for example. A car that is so broken down that, let's say, got into a very bad accident. Sometimes that car can never be fixed. But sometimes when you see a car that's been sitting in the lot and you want it, and you try driving it out of the lot and it won't even make it out of the parking lot, then you know that car is damaged for good, and doesn't matter what engine you put in it, it can't be fixed. The same with the narcissist. Narcissists can't be fixed. They've been like this since the beginning of their lives, and they're not going to change now, and they can't change because they have a disorder in their brain that doesn't allow for them to be able to reflect and be able to see themselves for who they are, because they can't. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible, right? And so what you need to understand when it comes to narcissists, guys, especially narcissistic parents, and if you grew up with narcissistic parents, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I found out later on in my life that my parents were narcissistic, sadly, but I'm here where I am for a reason, and you're watching my video here for a reason. What you need to understand in order to deal with your narcissistic parents who are jealous of you is to not get your feelings into it. And I know that's easier said than done. I get it. But what I'm saying is, start thinking positively about and knowing who you are, understanding who you are as a person first, and knowing that and understanding who that's coming from. When they're talking to you like that, just know that it's coming from a person who's jealous of you, a person that doesn't want to see you succeed. And you can even look at it and say, hey, at least I'm doing better than them. They didn't pass school, but I did. I got better grades in school than they did, right? So you can switch your thought process and think positively and not allow for them to get in your head like that, right? Another way that narcissistic parents are jealous of their own kids is if a narcissistic parent is jealous of their own kids, they will do anything they can to sabotage that child. And when I say anything, I literally mean anything. What they will do, what that narcissistic parent will do, is they will go to their family, like their siblings and their parents, and they will tell every sibling, every one of their siblings and cousins and aunts and whomever that narcissistic parent grew up with, that narcissistic parent will tell that family that child is no good, that they have mental issues, that they have problems, and that they are a monster of a child, that and that they're not stable. They're very unstable, and you should stay away from them and be careful. You know what I'm saying? This is what jealous narcissistic parents do to their children. And that's why many times that child grows up to not have a stable upbringing with their family, because that narcissistic parent who's jealous of them has been talking bad about them to other people within their family. It could even happen within the family. Let's say that that narcissistic parent had kids, had not just you, but had different kids within that relationship. Let's say you grew up with siblings, brothers, sisters, and whomever. They will even triangulate you against your siblings. They will say to one sibling, look at how good your brother or sister is doing. Your brother or sister is a mechanic, or your brother or your sister is, a writer or an author. You should look to be like them. They're such a good brother or sister. They don't give us any trouble, but yet you give us trouble. And now you're being gaslighted because you've never given your parents any trouble anytime. They've always looked up to you, but now they're trying to gaslight you. Now they're trying to make you doubt yourself. Now they're trying to make you feel less than. And now you start to believe these lies. And this is how, and I'm sorry if I'm going to trigger some of you who's watching my video, but this is true. This is how a lot of kids grow up into adulthood. They grow up to not be very stable, and some of them end up outing themselves. And when I say outing, I mean committing suicide, because all their life their parents told them that they will never amount to anything, and all their lives, they've never felt good enough. Anything they do, it always gets diminished. It always gets shut down. It always gets thrown in their face. Anytime they make a mistake, it's like they're not allowed to make mistakes, because this evil narcissistic parent that they have is trying to drive a wedge between that child and anything that matters to that child. Another way a narcissistic parent can sabotage a child is jealous and envious of their own child, is that a narcissistic parent will actually laugh at that child when that child is having a hard time. When that child is having a very hard time in their life, let's say that child is, a grown up, let's say the child's in their 20s or 30s or 40s, whatever. You can put whatever age in you want. And let's say that child, is in a relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or that child's married or has a spouse or whatever else. That narcissistic parent If that child comes to their parent who turns out to be a narcissist and says that they're having issues within the relationship, they're looking for advice, they're looking for help, can you help me? That narcissistic parent will say, well, you can figure it out on your own, and then they'll start throwing things in there like, you shouldn't have gotten into a relationship with that person. We told you not to marry them. We told you to leave that person alone and blah, 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 blah. And then they start throwing things in your face saying, see, you don't listen. See, you don't do this. See, you don't do that. When really all you were trying to do is ask for some help. And all you wanted to do is just get some parental guidance from the people who raised you, right? But what you have to understand is that your parents, that's not love at all. That is disdain. That is jealousy. That's a parent that doesn't love their child. Because a parent that loves their child would say, anything you want, I'm here for you. Let's talk about it. Let's try and figure out, how we can go about this. Now, and a healthy, stable parent would say, you know what? I didn't go through what you went through, but let me hear it. Let's get you some help. Let's get you into therapy. Let's do what we can to make sure that you're getting the best of everything, right? And that's what a healthy, stable parent will do. But a narcissistic parent will laugh at that child, will kick that child when they're down. And in fact, what a narcissistic parent will do, they will actually side with the with the person that's abusing the child. The narcissistic parent will literally feed the smear campaign of what is going on within that child's relationship. It's a serious thing. Narcissistic parents can do a lot of damage to their kids. And so if you're in a relationship with a narcissistic parent and you're watching this video, I urge you and I strongly suggest you create and develop an exit plan. And if you need help, if you need my help with that, feel more than free to reach out. I don't care if you're a 20-year-old, if you're 30 years old, if you're a teenager. I don't care if you're in your 50s. I don't care if you're in your 60s. I don't care. Reach out to me and I will help you create and develop that exit plan so that you can be set free from all that abuse. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, and I said that in a video recently, nobody should have to tolerate abuse from anybody. I don't care if it's your parent, your sibling. I don't care if it's your boss. I don't care who it is. If it's a pastor at church, I don't care who it is. Nobody should have to tolerate abuse from anybody. Nobody should have to be disrespected by anybody. So if you're being disrespected by your parents and you live under the same roof as your parents and they're disrespecting you and they're invalidating you and they're throwing you under the bus, give me a call. Don't be afraid to reach out to me and give me a call. I'd be more than happy to help you out with that because I got through it. And if I got through it, I know that you can do the same. All it takes is just for you to reach out to me and just let me know. Now, if I'm triggering you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to trigger any of y'all, but I need to talk about this because it's important. Because there are a lot of people who are parents that have no business whatsoever being parents to children. I'm going to say that again because it's a fact. There are a lot of people that are raising kids that have no business whatsoever raising kids because they in of themselves are not stable. And the fact is that they know that they are narcissistic because all narcissists know exactly what they're doing. They know that they're invalidating that child. They know that when that child grows up, that child is gonna that they're gonna be nowhere to be found. They also know that at some point they're gonna leave that child hanging. Maybe when they're in their early children days, maybe when they're a grown adult, maybe when they're sick, that parent is going to abandon them because that's what all narcissists do. Because narcissists are insecure, narcissists are jealous and envious of everybody, narcissists believe that they're entitled to what everybody has, and narcissists think that everybody owes them something. Narcissists believe that everybody should give to them and that they don't have to give to anybody else. Well, those times are over. Those days are over. We don't take nonsense like that anymore, especially on my channel. I went through it for 20 something years of my life within my family and with my narcissistic parents, and I broke out and I made it out and I'm here today. And I'm here to help you out. I'm here to get you out of that same curse that I was under. I was under that spell for many years. And as a result, I always thought throughout my life that I was the problem. I thought that I had a serious problem. I thought that I was going to spend years in therapy, or I thought that I was probably going to end up outing myself many years later because I would have thought, why are people so mean to me? Why are people so disrespectful to me? Why is it that every time I do something, it's always getting thrown back in my face? And they're always saying things like, oh, you could have done that better. Oh, they're your brothers. You should be there for them. Even though my brothers, they were always laughing at me behind my back and they were gossiping about me to my face and behind my back to other people whom I didn't know, or people who I did know. So what I'm saying here, guys, is that this is what narcissistic parents do. They love to drive wedges between the child and anything that matters to that child. If that child has a love for something, let me give you something else, and I'm gonna close the video very soon because if I was to cover everything in this video, it'd be too long. But I'm gonna close the video very soon. But another way a narcissistic parent is jealous and envious of their own child, they'll even go as far as if that child is celebrating a special occasion, let's say it's their birthday, or let's say it's their anniversary in their marriage, or let's say that child is celebrating something special in their life. Maybe that child just took their first step, or maybe that child did something great that day. Maybe that child's gonna be something. Whatever you want. You can, like I said, you can place it in the blanks here, right? That narcissistic parent is not going to show up for that child. That child's going to be taking their first step. That narcissistic parent is just going to sit on the couch eating Doritos and Cheetos, and then watching Barney or something like that on the TV, while their other parent is there, celebrating that child, and that narcissistic parent over there is on their phone looking for the replacement looking to replace the spouse, while that other parent is celebrating the child. That's how, and let's say that the child is celebrating their first birthday. That narcissistic parent is going to be, especially if they're a covert narcissist, they're going to sit there like this. It's literally brooding, sitting like they're like that, just upset and angry because the spotlight is not on them. The spotlight is on the child, and they should be celebrating their child. But the narcissistic parent doesn't see it like that. They have to always have the spotlight on them. And that's very sad and unfortunate. But a lot of kids are going through that right now as I'm creating this video. They don't have a narcissistic parent. They have a narcissistic parent that they're celebrating with, and everything has to be their way or the highway. Well, I got news for you, narcissistic parent. Your child is going to grow up to be something that you could never be. And unfortunately, you're a nothing. You're a big piece of nothing. If you're watching this video, you're a big piece of nothing. Okay? So if you're in a family and you're dealing with the narcissistic parent, give me a call. Don't be afraid to give me a call. I'd be more than happy to give you the help so you can get yourself out and so you no longer have to tolerate that type of abuse, because that is abuse beyond a level. And nobody should have to deal with that. I've said that twice now in this video. Nobody should have to tolerate that abuse, all right? Because you're valuable. You mean something. You're important to this world. We need more resilient people like you, all right? So I need you to hang in there with me, all right? Okay, so that's the video. So thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. If you want a one-on-one session, please feel free to email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com or send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, like I said, if you need help, and you don't even know you need help, please feel free to reach out to me. My door is always open. I'd be more than happy to give you the help. If you want to call, please send a text to the number just so that I know it's you, because if you just randomly call me, I may just block your number just because I don't just answer random numbers, because they could be fake. It could be somebody whom I don't know, so I might just block it. So just text me. Trust me. Just text me. Send me a text. Let me know who it is and that you want some help with your experience, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. All right? So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care now. Later.